Lately, my whole family, including my tween son, Mark, fake name, has been interested in ancestry. Everyone wanted to go get tested. We were hesitant because Mark is adopted, but after we read up about it and how there's an option to make sure nobody else could see his data but us, we agreed. We found nothing on the maternal side closer than third cousin, but we did find a match for a biological father. We looked him up on social media. Here's the thing, he's 24 years old, as in he's turning 25 this year. Our son was an anonymous hospital surrender, so we understood that we must tread carefully. The story might not be great, but this crosses a line for us. Given basic math, there's almost no chance that this story is anything appropriate for our son to hear. And talking to this guy feels grossly inappropriate for us to do. We're uncomfortable talking to this guy, or that it's a right move for our family. We decided to tell our son that we didn't find anything about his biological parents, even when we had his complete contact information. He was disappointed but accepted it. My family thinks we should have told him the truth, but we disagree. As our son's parents, we're responsible for protecting him, and we feel this is the best. We never promised him that this would come up with anything, or that we would decide to reach out if it did. It was only ever a possibility that we were open to, if it was safe and reasonable to. We've been arguing back and forth all day with nobody else on our side. Is there something I'm not seeing here? Am I the idiot for telling my son we didn't find his biological parents? Edit. Son knows he's adopted. I wouldn't have a problem with him having this information at 18. We would even be willing to be the point of contact then. 6 years would give everyone involved a chance to get older. 30 feels different from 24, and 18 is light years away from his age. Is there any possibility that the person identified as the father is the younger brother of the actual father? Well, no. Given the DNA percentage, even if there's somehow full siblings, it's not likely. You are the idiot for telling other family members. So many people were part of that conversation that there's no way the secret will stay secret for long. If your son doesn't get to know, then they certainly shouldn't have been told. Also, he's likely going to try to find his bio parents himself again one day, and he might be upset if he finds out that you kept this information from him, especially if his bio dad does want some relationship. This is his story. You can't sanitize it or hide it from him, and that will just add to the trauma when he inevitably finds out the truth, and he will find out. This will bite you in the idiot. Yeah, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 are dead. OP will have to deal with her son's feelings of betrayal because of all the lies, and it's such a stupid secret to begin with. This kid is 12 years old. He's old enough to be communicated with about this, rather than be lied to. What's wrong with saying, we did find somebody, but we don't know if they're safe enough to reach out to yet? He's not 6 years old. Surely he will understand when his parents explain that his biological father was too young for a kid and that he's a stranger who might not be safe. 18 is too late. That's the only part that gets me. Why on earth did OP discuss this with anyone other than their spouse? You've turned a private, possibly traumatic subject for your son into family gossip. This will come out now, and it'll get back to your son. Too many people know. People who will talk amongst themselves and possibly directly to your son. If anyone was to get that information, it was your son. And if he wasn't getting it, then you shouldn't have told anyone. Everyone's the idiot here. I wish you hadn't told anyone else, though. My nephew was told the truth about his conception by a it's only right person at 12. He thought my brother was his bio dad. He was very loved, very wanted, but still, a product of my sister-in-law's unfortunate accident. Oof, that should have been a secret. He's 32 now, no interest in having a family, full of rage. You'd think of us as liars, right? No, it scared the crap out of him to find out at that age. I pray you have no do-gooders like we did. Good luck to all of you, OP. I, 27 male, have been married to my wife, 26, for a little over a year. Last week, it was my wife's birthday, and she received a $3,000 diamond necklace from my brother, 30. I was pretty weirded out by this, as even though my brother is far from poor, he's not the type to gift anyone gifts worth thousands, and he especially never gave my wife something as expensive as this. My wife shrugged it off as nothing, and my brother felt generous. Here's where I might be the idiot. I still feel uneasy about the gift. I brought it up to my brother's wife, 30, and she lost it on him. Apparently, she never agreed to my brother gifting another woman such an expensive gift. Now both my brother and my wife are mad at me. My brother for creating problems in his marriage, and my wife who thinks I only blabbed about my brother's gift for her to my sister-in-law because I'm insecure my own birthday gift for her wasn't as expensive. I paid for a full spa day for her, which she really liked, but it indeed wasn't as expensive as my brother's necklace. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Let's break it down. Your brother and your wife are dancing horizontally. They think you're too dumb to notice, and as a private joke between them, he gives her an expensive necklace in front of you. They thought they'd be able to get away with being blatant about their relationship. You stuffed things up by contacting the sister-in-law, who has a few dozen more IQ points than your good self, and recognizes horizontal dancing when she sees it. That's what this is about. OP, you should swap wives with bro on a permanent basis. If your wife takes half of your assets, and your sister-in-law takes half of theirs, you'd get the better deal. I feel a little sad as I would have been this clueless in my first marriage. I was blind to my ex-wife setting herself up to exit the marriage years before she did. I adored her and couldn't see anything wrong, even though my family and friends warned me. If my husband gave me a $3,000 necklace, I'd be wondering what he did, because clearly the man's trying to apologize or something. Info: any signs that your wife is cheating? Apart from the $3,000 necklace. I'll be waiting on your next post, where you confirm that they're having an affair. Everyone is going to assume your brother and wife are having an affair, but I think the truth is much more sinister. The necklace is cursed. Bringing it into your home will attract the attentions of the old ones. Disavow your brother. He's trying to kill you. And abandon your wife. She's already come to their attention. It's too late for her. Rescue your sister-in-law and flee. I, 25, am a general manager at a shop. I'm not the owner, but I've been with them since I was a teen and worked up to my current position. It's been the perfect job to pair with my classes. As the general manager, I do the scheduling and the hiring. The owners trust my judgment and let me hire and fire at my discretion. Last week, I hired a girl, teen, from the local high school. She was lovely and showed a willingness to work. She seems a little on the quiet side, but this being her first job, I think it's expected to an extent. There were zero tells or mentions that she may have special needs. 2 days after hiring her, she's not supposed to start until this upcoming week. Her father came in and introduced himself to me. He was polite, thanked me for hiring his daughter, and left his phone number, telling me to call him after I'm off. I was confused because I've never dealt with a situation like this, but I did call him. He thanked me again, but then said his daughter has severe anxiety and is a slow learner, and that I need to make special accommodations for her. Here's what they are. Do not schedule her for more than 3 hours at a time. Please allow her as many 10-minute breaks as she needs when she appears overwhelmed. He said that if it's very busy, it's better to just let her sit in the back room and watch YouTube. Her school comes first, which I understand, but he said she'll need to call off when she has significant homework. Give her plenty of compliments and let the other staff know to go the extra mile to make her feel welcome. If she makes a mistake, I shouldn't discuss it with her, but call him. I don't know much about employment law and not sure if I could be in legal trouble, but like every state, we have at-will employment. I called the owner to tell him about this, and he said to use my discretion. I want to call the father back and say that I cannot make these accommodations, and if she does need these accommodations, I'll have to rescind the job offer. I feel for the girl. Like I said, she was very sweet. But at the same time, I do have a business to run. I'm not a special ed teacher. What's the point of hiring her when I'll need to be overstaffed to accommodate for her? I just can't do it. So right now, I'm thinking of calling her dad tomorrow and letting him know that she'll be treated like every other employee. And if this doesn't work for her, then she can't work here. Would I be an idiot for that? Not the idiot. However, I would not call the father. I would call the person you employed and talk to her about it. If she wants to join the workforce, she needs to understand what that means. It means she needs to speak up for herself if she has needs in the workplace. I get the impression that the father may have done this, though, without the daughter knowing. My gut feeling reading this is that dad is stomping her boundaries or doesn't want her independent. Ignore everything her dad said and treat her like a normal employee. You're the girl's employer, not the dad. I would not be discussing my employees' matters with anyone but them, the owner or HR. Now, I get you might not have HR as a small business, but if you're the GM, you'd better well get familiar with the labor law you operate under. If you rescind the offer before she's even allowed to enter your workforce because of a private convo with the dad, you are the idiot. If she could come in for an interview and get the job, I'm sure she can express any needs she may have to accommodate her. Give her a chance. If it seems like she just isn't a good fit after a few weeks, you still have the option to terminate if she can't do anything. As somebody who's super anxious, new employers can be super intimidating. I would just talk to her about it and try to make her feel safe. Mini update. Hey y'all, thanks for the input. I've decided to give her the job and see how it goes. If she can't handle it, I'll just let her go. My friend is getting married next year, but she's done the most horrible things behind her fiancé's back. My friend, Sarah, 26, is engaged to an old friend of mine from high school, Jason, 26. In 2022, Sarah cheated on Jason with his coworker from a job he got her. I've told her, and many of our close friends told her, it's wrong and unfair to Jason. Note, he's been cheated on before. She claims she felt terrible and regrets it. As her New Year resolution, she told him she had an emotional affair, and the only physical thing was a kiss. She left out the part where she had intimacy with him multiple times, but Jason forgave her and wanted to start over. In February, she messaged a guy, Eric, 29, on Instagram, who she knew had feelings for her. She went on a date and said he was weird and not her type. Eric works a professional job and is more stable, and he lives in a different state 10 hours away. She starts talking to Eric more often, and he eventually flies her out to see him. She told our close friend group about how she wanted to leave Jason for Eric. We told her that's fine, but she needs to be honest with Jason. Jason proposes to her in March, and she accepts and starts the wedding planning process. He works in construction outside of the city and comes home every 20 days for a week. After the proposal, he says he wants to be celibate until the wedding day to have God's blessing. She took that as an opportunity to have unprotected intimacy with Eric whenever she wanted. She visits him 3 to 4 times a month because Jason is out for work. When I asked if she was even using protection or getting tested, she said no, only loose women get tested, and that she was against birth control. Slowly, our friend group started to exclude her. We can't support someone who's reckless, selfish, and has no regard for the love of her life. Then a few months ago, she came to a dinner party and told us she was pregnant with Eric's baby. She laughs it off, and we tell her she needs to come clean now, and this has gone on for too long. She says now isn't the time because Jason planned a trip to Mexico, and she really wanted to go. Also, Jason pays for her car and phone bills, and she isn't equipped to let that stuff go. Well, she got a procedure, but continues to make light of the issue. Eric finally broke things off because he felt she would treat him the same way, and he couldn't look at her anymore. She was upset but said, "It's whatever now. I have a wedding to plan." I want Jason to know what has been happening. I don't want to be involved, but he doesn't deserve to marry someone who treats him so poorly. I've known him longer than her, and he's a good guy. Would I be an idiot if I told him what she was doing? Not the idiot. Sarah sounds just awful in so many different ways. Take telling Jason the truth as an opportunity to have no contact with her. However, I would expect Jason to be very upset with you, not just because shoot the messenger is a very real response to news like this, but because you sat on this for so long. You should have told him when Sarah lied to him about her first affair. You should have told him when you knew she was having an affair in the first place. Sarah sounds deeply self-absorbed and profoundly lacking in compassion, empathy, and respect, but you covered up for her. There will be consequences, and you'll have to face them. Tell Jason the whole truth, all of it. Tell him to get tested. Cut Sarah out of your life. Then look at yourself and ask why you stayed silent when you knew one of your friends was getting hurt. OP, you're telling me that for over a year, you knew this woman cheated with a coworker, lied about it, started dating a guy from another state, and visited him multiple times a month, got pregnant by the guy, and you never told your friend? You're the idiot because you watched someone you consider a friend since high school get used and cheated on by someone and didn't say a word. I guess girl code is more important, huh? For the love of all that, there is someone in your friend group who needs to actually be Jason's friend and tell him. You are the idiot for not telling him sooner. He sounds like a good guy, but you sound like a horrible human being for letting it go on this long, much like your friend who you thoroughly deserve. I, 27 male, have always had a sensitive stomach. A lot of things mess me up, but ever since I was a kid, the thing that was always the worst was sugar-free sweets. I don't know what chemicals those companies use, but anything that tastes like it has sugar in it but doesn't has been a nightmare for my stomach. Seriously, sugar-free food messes me up. So yeah, fast forward to now, and my brother has decided to go vegan. I have no problem with this. He had a birthday dinner yesterday, and before the cake was served, I overheard him bragging to his friend about how the cake was completely vegan and sugar-free. I was a little hurt because my brother knows about my stomach problems, but I figured it was his birthday, so whatever. My brother tried to pass me a slice when the cake was served, and I said no thanks. He told me that he knew it tasted good and made it himself and asked me to at least try it. I still said no thank you, a little more assertively, and he dropped it. Things got really awkward really quickly, and I ended up leaving early. Now my family's been telling me that I was rude to refuse to eat the cake. I've tried to explain about my stomach, but they claim that I could have taken a bite to be polite. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Why would they be so invested in you eating a piece of cake, even if it didn't give you the squirts? No kidding. Passing up a dessert is not something to be taken personally. It's not like you flipped the table and stormed out. I totally understand your issues with sugar-free foods. I'm highly allergic to stevia, the sugar substitute in everything now, and I'll be getting an EpiPen for it soon. I've also had to deny sweets because they're sugar-free, and people couldn't tell me what sugar substitute was used. Even if you don't have a health issue, no one should care that you didn't eat it. It's not some kind of slap in the face. Attending a birthday party and not wanting any cake is completely okay, but next time accept the cake and leave it behind a couch somewhere. Hope they like that. Or tell them you bring rat poison next time to the barbecue and will expect everyone to take a non-lethal dose just to be polite. What the heck is wrong with them? I cannot imagine ever being offended that someone couldn't eat something I'd made because they have a food allergy or intolerance, let alone ignoring a food intolerance that I knew they had when preparing food for an event I knew they'd be at. Your family sounds like a bunch of idiots to me.